Hello, my name is John Bannon. I'm an attorney and philosopher. In today's video, I'm going to explain how superdeterminism destroys Michel Foucault. This video is what they failed to teach you in college philosophy class about the philosophy of Foucault. When I speak of superdeterminism, I'm referring to a very unique version of superdeterminism known as Hansonian superdeterminism. In 2020, Swedish theoretical physicist Dr. Johan Hansen published a proof of Hansonian superdeterminism, which you can read for yourself in the peer-reviewed physics journal Physics Essays, volume 33, number 2, June of 2020. Starts on page 216, ends on page 218. It is entitled Bell's Theorem and Its Tests, Proof that Nature is Superdeterministic, Not Random. Now, Hansonian superdeterminism says we live in three dimensions of space and a hidden fourth static dimension of time in a block universe. And it says that cause and effect in physics is not real. So, physical causation is not real. Probabilistic causation is not real. Instead, what you have is events or particles through the static dimension of time that are fixed like pebbles in concrete. You can't move them, you can't change them, they're permanent, but they do create patterns through the static dimension of time, and we can describe those patterns with mathematical logical laws of physics. So, under Hansonian superdeterminism, the past, present, and future are equally real. They all presently exist in our universe. Hansonian superdeterminism is not the same thing as classic superdeterminism, first posited by Dr. John Bell in 1985, because Dr. Bell relied on hidden causal variables for his version of superdeterminism. But Dr. Hansen disproved causation, so Hansonian superdeterminism does not rely on hidden causal variables. Rather, it relies on proof of the lack of causation. Now, I've put 5 points on the board of Foucault's philosophy, and I'm going to explain to you how superdeterminism disproves each and every one. So, number 5, Foucault said that objective truth is merely what people say it is. However, under Hansonian superdeterminism, what people say is actually a predetermined physical reality and aspect of the static block universe itself, which is permanent. So, um, human speech, thoughts, books can exhibit objective truth if the static block universe exhibits objective truth through any particular human thought or product of human thought. Um, Number 4, your life is a work of art resisting power and institutional labels. However, under Hansonian superdeterminism, power is an illusion. It is not an actual thing. And that's because you need cause and effect in physics to have power. In other words, if you have power, you can cause something to change or be the way you want it to be in the future. But because the future is predetermined, set in stone, and you can't change it without cause and effect in physics, and it presently exists, then you have no power to change the predetermined future because there's no cause and effect in physics. So power has to be an illusion. So um, all of human history is already existing in the static block universe. So all the events from the past, present, and future, they all exist in the static block universe. That means all the events of human history exist in the static block universe, uh, which means you can't change the totality of human history. It's already in the block universe. So this idea of struggling against the power that is defining human history is nonsense because they have no power to change human history. It already exists in the static block universe from beginning to end, and it's permanent and you can't change it. Number three, there is no meaning in life, but only the meaning assigned to us by discourse. So Foucault is basically saying uh, the meaning of life is whatever people say it is, or whatever people with power say your meaning in life is. There's no real meaning in life. Hansonian superdeterminism completely disproves this, though. Under Hansonian superdeterminism, everybody's life permanently exists as an aspect of the static block universe. Every event in your life, from birth to death, presently exists in the static block universe and is permanent. It essentially forms an information packet through the dimension of time of your body and your existence. So at this present moment in time, you happen to be in a particular location of the static dimension of time. But you 5 minutes ago is still there, experiencing 5 minutes ago. You're just in a different location in the hidden dimension of time. And you 5 minutes from now, you're experiencing 5 minutes from now. It's just that you 5 minutes from now is in a different location in the static dimension of time. That's why you aren't presently aware of your future existence or um, experiencing your past because you're not in the proper location in the static dimension of time to experience that. Doesn't mean it's not there. It just means presently you're not in that location in the dimension of time. So every human being who's alive has a block life, this information packet that's permanent in the static dimension of time. The only universal meaning of life under Hansonian superdeterminism is our static block life, because that's the only thing that all living things have. So the universal meaning of life has to be your predetermined static block life and the role it plays in the predetermined universe that has been predetermined and created by God according to his plan. So the universal meaning of life is the predetermined role your block life plays in God's predetermined plan for the universe and human history. It literally can't be anything else because you don't do anything else outside of your block life. So meaning has baked in, I'm sorry, life has baked in meaning under Hansonian superdeterminism. You can't change it, you can't get rid of it because there's no cause and effect in physics. But all life, especially human life, has baked in meaning. Number two, power produces knowledge. So Foucault uh, argued that power is what creates the circumstances for a particular sort of knowledge to come into existence. And that knowledge, in turn, supports the power that brought it into existence. However, under Hansonian superdeterminism, power is an illusion. It's not real. It can't be without cause and effect in physics. And it cannot produce knowledge because it can't produce anything without cause and effect in physics. Knowledge itself, whether you think of it as human thoughts or human thoughts that have been transcribed to different media like books, these are physical realities and aspects of the permanent static block universe. And the static block universe can exhibit truth in human thoughts because human thoughts are a physical reality of the block universe. So that knowledge could be true. It's the static block universe is the permanent foundation of knowledge because that's where it comes from. Uh, Now, if you think about, as an example, if you think, well, I'm going to consciously decide to move my arm. Now, your arm is undeniably a physical reality, and the movement of your arm must be predetermined in the future of the static block universe. Well, if your arm movement is predetermined in the future, then your conscious decision to move your arm must also be predetermined in order for your arm movement to be predetermined, which means that conscious knowledge and thoughts have to be a predetermined aspect of the static block universe. Now, your thoughts and knowledge happen to be located exactly where your brain is. And your brain is made of brain particles, physical particles. And these must be the aspects, the physical, real aspects of the static block universe that is responsible for leading to your predetermined conscious thoughts. Now, it's a mystery as to how brain particles can create an immaterial experience like your conscious thoughts. But if I were to guess, this would be the reason. If you look at the universe, you know it can be described through logical mathematical laws of physics. That's telling you that the universe is logic. So this logic of the universe gives us this reality, this physical reality. Well, brain particles, if organized in such a way through the static dimension of time, can give rise to a different form of logic, a logic I call the logic of the possible. And because that logic is real, then it must have a reality in which it exists. And that reality is our conscious experience. It's that immateriality of our consciousness. But it's really just a different reality created by a different form of logic that is a result of brain particle positions through the static dimension of time, creating a special form of logic. So you can see how thoughts, even thoughts, can be a physical reality because they're a result of brain particle positions, which are undeniably a physical aspect of the static block universe. Number one, man is a fluid construct generated by the deployment of power through history. So Foucault is basically saying that it's the powers that be that decide what it is to be a person, what that means. And they've been doing this throughout human history. However, this is false because power is an illusion. It's not actually real under Hansonian superdeterminism because cause and effect in physics is not real. So the uh, the powers that be don't actually have power. They have an illusion of power, but they don't have actual power. So they can't actually tell humans what humans are. Um, and a human is not a fluid construct because there's nothing that's fluid in the static block universe. It's all fixed, predetermined, and permanent. There's nothing fluid about it. Nothing moves in the static block universe because um, there's nothing that can be caused to move because there's no cause and effect. So all of human history presently exists in the static block universe. All the events of human history, past, present, and future, they are all permanent physical realities and aspects of the permanent static block universe, and you can't change them. So, what it means to be a human, or the essence of humanity, is exhibited by the static block reality that is the history of humanity. And there's no power in the universe or on earth that can change that. It just is what it is. God atemporally created the universe to exhibit his plan, and that plan includes human history. Okay, well, I hope you learned something, and I'll give you a second to read the board. All right, until next time, take care.